안녕하세요, 여러분의 한국어 선생님 고빌입니다. The last time I made a video recommending the best YouTube channels for learning Korean was way back in 2017. Well, I did make another video for channels with fewer than 10,000 subscribers in 2020, but I think that it's time for an update because nowadays you can find hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels for learning Korean. So today I want to introduce 15 YouTube channels that teach Korean, and here are the requirements for the list. First, the channel must have a large amount of content for learning. So I'm only sharing channels here that have at least 50 videos related to Korean. Second, the channel must be currently active, so only channels that have uploaded at least one Korean video in the past 90 days since filming this video. Also, I didn't include shorts in either of these numbers. And third, I'm only including channels that are focused on teaching Korean. Channels that more often upload videos about different topics didn't qualify, as well as channels that are focused solely on listening practice. The reason for that is if I include channels that offer just listening practice, then technically I should include every single YouTuber that speaks in Korean. And once I narrowed down the selection of these requirements, I was still left with close to 100 channels, from which I then handpicked 15 that I feel will be especially useful to learners. So let's get right to the list, and these are not in any order, so feel free to jump around using the video's timestamps. First up is Talk to Me in Korean. Actually, Talk to Me in Korean has been a big help to me since I started teaching Korean here. We've done videos together. I also published a book with them. And Talk to Me in Korean, or TTMIK for short, has videos on everything related to Korean. Common expressions, slang words, idioms, natural conversational examples, listening practice, grammar lessons, live streams, interviews, general tips for studying. Do you get what I mean now when I say that they have everything? Now, well, most of their content is geared toward beginners. You can also find plenty of content that's for intermediate as well as an advanced level. And best of all, their channel also contains a few videos that were filmed with yours truly. So that's why TTMIK gets my first recommendation, but you're probably already subscribed to them. So let's get on to my second recommendation, Learn Real Korean. The teacher, Hossem, has been making consistently high quality content ever since I first found out about this channel over 3 years ago. And as you can guess by the title name, this channel is focused on, well, real Korean. So it's full of natural conversation examples, frequently used grammar explanations, idioms, and expressions, and everything is presented clearly in context. So while you're learning about culture or listening to an explanation about gardening, you're also learning Korean. The first thing though that you might notice about this channel is that everything is taught in Korean. Now for brand new beginners, this might be a bit challenging, but for everyone else, you'll find that her style of speaking is easy to understand. So I'd say it's especially useful for anyone in the beginner to intermediate level. Next, my third recommendation goes to Professor Yoon's Korean language class. Professor Yoon is basically me in 20 years from now, minus my teddy bear. He teaches Korean grammar covering both beginner and intermediate levels, so everything from detailed grammar lessons, useful vocabulary and expressions, to lessons on Hanja, which are Chinese characters used in Korea, as well as numerous listening examples, Korean folk tales, and TOPIK test preparation questions. Oh, and sometimes he cooks Korean food. I also really enjoy his regular live streams where he answers viewers' questions and teaches short lessons. So I'd recommend Professor Yoon's channel to anyone looking for a more classroom-style experience, like going through a textbook but with a tutor by your side. Okay, now on to my fourth recommendation, which is 한국어 한 조각, a piece of Korean. This channel contains well over 100 in-depth grammar lessons that are taught naturally through conversations. Also included are plenty of videos for reading practice, such as reading the newspaper, dictation practice, videos about natural expressions and recent topics, and they also run a podcast. They basically have everything you'd expect, but what I especially like about this channel is not only do they have beginner content, a large portion of their videos are targeted at intermediate and even advanced level learners, which if you're in that level, you'll know that it can sometimes be difficult to find content for on YouTube. So I'd recommend a piece of Korean if you're looking for something beyond just the beginner level. Next, for my fifth recommendation we have Korean Jream. Now, you may have seen Korean Jream on my channel before. We've made a few videos together. But the reason I'd recommend her YouTube channel is for her grammar explanations. And I often find that her grammar lessons are, well, accurate, but even more importantly, they're easy to understand. And not only beginner content, but also there's plenty of intermediate content. So you'll find plenty of videos about commonly used expressions and slang words, interviews in Korean about various topics, including daily conversations and even Korean dialects, as well as a good amount of videos that are showcasing Korean culture. But everything is taught around the Korean language. Something else that I think is also unique is you might find poetry breakdowns, which I usually don't see on other channels, as well as lyric breakdowns. And it was actually hard to classify this channel because it really has a large variety of videos. So if you're interested in more than just the Korean language, but you still want to focus on Korean, then make sure to give Korean Dream's channel a try. Next, my 6th recommendation goes to 그냥 한국어, just Korean. This is a lesser known channel that's been flying under the radar, and I think that it's definitely underrated. For a quick summary, on this channel you can find dozens of Korean podcasts with Korean subtitles, which by itself is useful, as well as some videos that explore Korean culture, travel, and music, along with commonly used expressions and verbs, and that's all great. But what really sets this channel apart are her video topics. Many of these are really common issues that I've seen Korean learners have, both beginner and intermediate, such as commonly confused grammar forms and particles, videos on how to connect sentences together, and her grammar videos all seem to go more in-depth than other lessons that I've found. For example, here's a video about 지 않다 and 지 말다, which are two forms that are very often confused. Or another video about many ways to say to lose something. And some of these topics remind me a lot of my own teaching style. Now, I should also mention that almost everything on her channel is taught in Korean, but she provides plenty of examples and speaks clearly, and her videos have subtitles, so I think that it would be fine to recommend this channel even to beginners. Okay, for my 7th recommendation, I have Korean Studio. I actually found out about Korean Studio back in 2020 when I made my last recommendation video, and at the time this channel didn't have enough videos to recommend, but now he's definitely ready. His channel is focused on covering a wide variety of beginner grammar topics. For example, he has videos comparing grammar forms and explaining useful verb endings, as well as pronunciation tips, commonly used Korean expressions, natural Korean conversation examples, and some videos about Korean culture, as well as some history, which I think is unique. And I said that he teaches beginner topics, but I think that he does a good job keeping things interesting and providing a lot more than you'll find elsewhere. For example, sound change rules are an important part of the Korean alphabet that often get ignored in books and lessons because they're a bit complicated for beginners. But Korean Studio has a large number of videos that go over them simply and in detail. He even makes videos covering things like nasalization tips for pronouncing the Korean letters and videos on some more difficult sound changes, which I think are especially useful for beginners to know. So definitely check out Korean Studio 2 if you're looking for any of that. And next, for my 8th recommendation, I have Korean Gem. The focus of this channel is on both beginner and intermediate lessons. For beginner content, she has videos on the Korean culture, commonly used words and expressions, commonly used grammar lessons, as well as a series for learning the Korean alphabet if you're new to the language. And for intermediate content, she has a decent amount of slang lessons, although I think that beginners can also benefit from those kind of videos. She also has videos about Korean pronunciation rules or sound change rules, along with explanations about verb conjugation and tips for sounding more natural when speaking. And she has useful videos for people who live in Korea, like a video about how to order food using apps or finding a place to live, and even filing your Korean taxes. Now, while some of her videos are in Korean, most are taught in English, but both styles come with subtitles, so you should be fine even if you're a brand new beginner. Okay, for my 9th recommendation, I have Hailey, your Korean friend. This channel has been around for a couple of years, but it has well over 100 videos, mostly for beginning level learners as well as brand new Korean learners. And she has lessons on learning the Korean alphabet as well, and all of her lessons are presented clearly and entertaining. Her channel has plenty of grammar lessons, as you would expect, so lessons on common common grammar forms as well as how to use particles, but she also has a large amount of lessons that are focused on correct Korean pronunciation, and she also teaches common expressions and vocabulary words, and all of her videos are just nicely organized. So she has videos on words used when eating or words when talking about the colors, and these sorts of videos are great to use as extra material on top of your regular lessons. So say that you've just finished a lesson somewhere about ordering food, you could go watch one of her videos with vocabulary about food. So definitely check out her channel if you're looking for some additional content on top of your regular lessons. Now, for my 10th recommendation, I have Just Learn Korean. Just Learn Korean is also a newer channel from just a year or so ago, but they're off to a great start and their channel is already filled with videos about Korean grammar, including a large amount of videos that compare Korean grammar forms, which I think can be especially useful, as well as videos teaching essential vocabulary and verbs. There are pronunciation lessons, such as common pronunciation mistakes, and useful tips for how to learn Korean more effectively. And all of the videos are narrated, kind of like watching a well-prepared presentation. Overall, I think that Just Learn Korean is a balanced channel that provides a good range of content for beginners. But not only beginners, this channel is also aimed at learners who are trying to grow into the intermediate level. So if that's you, then I recommend checking out this channel as well. Next, I won't be able to do this with my hands anymore. For my 11th recommendation, I have 꼬미스쿨. 꼬미스쿨 is focused on high-quality grammar lessons, and they have content both for beginner and intermediate learners. For example, all of the lessons are taught in Korean. And while that's a fairly common thing to say, the way that it's done is what makes 꼬미스쿨 so unique, because the Korean that's used in this channel is adjusted to match the level of the lesson. So beginner lessons are taught with simpler Korean, now relatively simple, it's still Korean, and intermediate lessons are taught with more intermediate or advanced Korean. So even if you're a beginner, you might find that you're able to follow along with some of her more intermediate lessons. You'll also find several videos about Korean culture, specifically Korean cooking, as well as some vlog-style videos and useful vocabulary lessons. So I recommend checking out this channel as well if you'd like to try learning Korean in Korean for both beginners and intermediate learners. Next up is my 12th recommendation, Miss Vicky. Now, Miss Vicky has been around for as long as I have, maybe a little longer. If you're a new beginner, she has a full series on learning how to read and write the Korean alphabet. And she has a large library of Korean grammar lessons, as well as pronunciation videos, Korean idioms, slang words such as internet slang, Hanja lessons, and even lessons on detailed sound change rules. So she has content that's both for beginner and intermediate level learners. And I really like her overall personality when she teaches, because she really makes it fun to learn Korean. So make sure to check out Miss Vicky as well for her Korean lessons and stick around for her personality. Next is my 13th recommendation, Alpha Korean Class. Alpha Korean Class has a large variety of beginner level lessons. She teaches basic grammar forms, common words and expressions, as well as general tips for learning Korean. But she also has natural conversation videos, as well as a Korean learning podcast, which are both aimed at more intermediate level learners. She also has a beginner level conversation practice series where she presents a natural conversation and then leaves a gap for the viewer to reply. It's kind of fun. She also has videos that are about Korean culture, such as food and even movie recommendations. So check out Alpha Korean Class 2 if this sounds like something you'd be into. All right, we're now at my 14th recommendation, King Sejong Institute Foundation. The King Sejong Institute Foundation, or Sejong Hakdang in Korean, is a foundation that's run through the Korean government in order to promote the Korean language. And I wish I could watch all of their videos and give the perfect summary of this channel, but they have way over 3,000 videos. Now, the reason for that is some of their content was created for learning Korean from other languages besides English. But still, they have a lot. So make sure to browse their videos through their playlists tab and not the videos tab. And they have videos not only on grammar, In fact, many of their videos are lecture style, and they teach using their own textbook, which is also free from their website, but they also have a video series about common slang words, a series on useful expressions, a series about Korean culture, food, and travel. Did I mention that they have a lot of videos? And there seems to be content for all levels, so from beginner to advanced. So make sure to check out their channel as well. Okay, now for my 15th and final recommendation today, I have Jenn from Korea. This channel has only been around a few years, but is close to 300 videos, so there's plenty of content to choose from. Her channel focuses on real-life Korean expressions, including common idioms, slang, and even buzzwords and Konglish words. Those are Korean words that come from English, which are definitely useful to know if you want to sound more like a native. But she also has a decent amount of natural grammar lessons for beginners. Also, if you're interested in culture or traveling, also BTS, she has videos about those as well. And what I especially like about this channel is her character and her energy, and she really makes learning Korean fun. So definitely check out her channel as well as all of the channels that I've recommended today, and let them know that I sent you. Okay, now one more channel that unfortunately didn't meet the requirements this time because one of its hosts had recently had a baby, but that otherwise regularly uploads fun content about Korean culture, cooking, and common expressions is Choi Sisters. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to them as well. And that's it. While I did my best to research and select YouTube channels for this video, I may have missed someone. So let me know if I didn't include your favorite in the comments below. And I want to give a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters and YouTube channel members for sponsoring this channel and helping me to make more content. And if you would also like to help support this channel, I'll put links in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.